Hi, so today I am making World Cup inspired trophy sculpture art. So it will be hopefully a sculpture artwork that will um, draw inspiration from the World Cup, the World Cup trophy. But it will be more towards abstract and only leaning subtly into the realism of and inspired by the World Cup trophy. So this is a fan art, and just to be clear, it's not for sale. It's just an art process of making art, and this is to share art inspired by a global event such as the World Cup. So here we have gold and green and bronze. So I'm making a sculpture artwork that will be inspired by the World Cup trophy, but instead of um, the uh, the materials from which the actual trophy is made of, it will be made using aluminium armature wires. So these are the colors of the World Cup trophy because it's inspired by that. Wait, let me just untie this. Okay, so this will be for the body, and this will be kind of like for the we call that shadows. What's the word? Something. And as as you know, if you've seen the World Cup trophy, this is for the base of the trophy, which has green, like two lines of green. So here we go. I guess thank you for joining, and thank you for watching me make or attempt to make the World Cup inspired trophy sculpture artwork. Thank you for joining this live stream. So I guess we'll start with the body first. So I want to take this slow, not to rush the process. So I guess I won't be rushing to make this. It's just an easygoing process of making art. So thank you for sticking around, and hope you're having a good day. Thank you for watching me make some art. So wait, I'm just trying to process and visualize the actual trophy. So I guess we'll just start with the body, which is the gold. Oh yeah, and this is for the accents. The bronze for the accents, like the shadows of the body. Yes. So wait, I may this may look like clueless at the start, but I'm sure this will turn out to be something, or at least resemble the actual World Cup trophy. Just inspired, but let me emphasize that it's more towards abstract, and also I'm using aluminium wires, so it's not going to be like the actual World Cup trophy, and also abstract. So more towards abstract, but has that subtle realism to it. So thank you for joining and liking this live stream. Thank you for watching me make some art. This is start with the body. Just put this aside. Yeah. So who watched the World Cup final or any of the World Cup matches? So it's trophy. I don't know if I should cut first because it's kind of like messy. But if I cut then I would know how much to cut. And let me just say again, this is a slow process, so it might not turn out like anything in the next few minutes or so. So it's a slow process. So thank you for joining. And if you want to see the finished thing, probably in a few hours or so. But we'll just enjoy the process in the meantime. And this is a live stream, and I will be attempting to get the whole thing done by the end of the live stream. So it'll probably be 2-3 hours. I don't know. So thank you for joining nonetheless. So it's just abstract, so there's no pressure. There's no pressure to make it look like the real thing. Okay, start with the body. I guess I won't cut. I'll just use the whole thing. Because like I said, I wouldn't know how much to cut and where to cut. I know it's messy for now, but this is the start. And art, the process of making art is supposed to be messy, right? So thank you for joining and watching the process of this. So we'll start with the body of the trophy. Truth be told, I don't really have a clue as to how this will eventually look like. But whatever it is, I'll just say it's abstract, right? And because they all have the same colors as the actual trophy, so I guess it will have that kind of realism to it. But it's more too abstract, so yeah. Anyways, thank you for joining and liking this live stream. Let me do this. I guess it will be like this size, probably this size, because I don't know if it's gonna be enough of the wires. The green will probably be enough, and the accented bronze. But yeah, so there's a ball on it, right? Like the globe on the trophy. So yeah, okay. So these are wires. These are aluminum armature wires. So it's just gonna look roughly the same, or like the abstract version of the trophy. And it's art anyway, so I'm not really. Probably should stop talking. Just focus on this. So like this. There's the globe here, and then the trophy like this, going curved inside. On the inside and not sticking out. Yeah. So I'll just cut any excess ones if I end up not using everything in the bronze color. Yeah, we can already see like the bronze is probably not really visible. The bronze part just acts as the shadowy part of the sculpture. So this is the main body now, the gold one of the World Cup inspired trophy sculpture, and the bronze just acts as the accents to the body and kind of adds some more depth to it, if you can see what I mean, right? So I'll probably not use everything because I don't want it to be like over visualize, like kind of like overstep to the gold one, because this just acts as like the accents, kind of like the shadow. So I'll just probably put here and there, and then I'll cut the excess. So yeah, I mean, we all know the World Cup trophy, so kind of looks like this, right? Like, it's not finished yet, but yeah, it has the shape, and I am going for like the abstract version of it, because these are just aluminum armature wires anyways. So it's just an abstract version of the World Cup inspired, the World Cup trophy. It's inspired. So thank you for joining and liking, and thank you for watching me make some art and attempting to make World Cup inspired trophy sculpture artwork. So for now, we're in the process of making the main body, and the bronze part is kind of like the shadow accents. So this has kind of the shape roughly, but it's not finished yet. So, but it will just mainly look like this because it's just an abstract wire sculpture, abstract version of the World Cup trophy. Yes, that's what I'm going for. And with just these wires, that is probably the only thing I can go for. So, and thank you for joining this live stream, watching the process of making this sculpture artwork that is inspired by the World Cup trophy. So, as we know, the trophy has the globe on the top, so this kind of looks like that, like it just curves out from the bottom like this and then goes up. So the globe here, I guess. I mean, and I don't have that much material of the wire, so I can only make it this size and this depth. And I've run out of the gold wire, so this is kind of like the main body that I can go. And so that's why this bronze would act as to add some depth to it. So we can probably see the shape already of the trophy, and then when I add the green, it will have more of a it will look more like it, more of the realism aspect to it, but it will still be more towards abstract. So we know the trophy has the 2 green lines. I wonder if I should use everything of the bronze. Probably, yeah. And I wouldn't have to cut. And looking at it like this, because the bronze is darker than the gold, so it doesn't really, I guess, take the focus away from the gold, because it's a dark color. It just acts as the shadow, kinda. So it still looks gold. But I wonder if I use everything, it will start to make it darker. Probably not use everything. Probably this is enough. Because we do want the gold to be the main color. Okay. Guess we'll just fix the shape later. But if I do use everything, it will kind of be hard to fix it because it will be more rigid. Yes. If I add more of the bronze, I guess this is enough of the bronze. Probably have to cut it. Should I try to cut first? So just emphasize that this is an abstract sculpture art, and it's made entirely of aluminum armature wires. So of course it wouldn't look exactly or almost exactly like the real thing. It would just have like the abstract shape of it and some colors like that would resemble the real World Cup trophy. So we're going for abstract and less of realism. So thank you for joining and watching me make this, or attempt to make this art. So it's inspired and not going for the real thing. And I guess I probably should have added the word abstract, but I mean, we can see that it's never going to look like the real thing because it's just made of wires. And I wouldn't want to go for the real thing anyways. It's just fan art. It's just an abstract sculpture art. So, should I make the main body more thicker. Yeah, this is a bit thick. Like this. So these are the only wires that I have. I probably should have bought one more gold. Probably should have gotten one more gold wire, but for now this is the only wires I have, so we just have to work with these. Kind of make it more thicker and have more depth. And as long as it can stand like this, when I cut this, it can stand. It's good. Right. So let me think of what to do next. Should I add more of these, or probably a few more layers, I guess. Probably a few more layers. Probably not everything, because it would be too much bronze and it would take the focus away from the gold. So just add like this. Way on the inside. Wait. Like this, go through the inside. Trust the process, I guess. Hi. So yeah. Okay, that's probably too much bronze. It will start to look darker than it has to be. But that's enough for the shadow part, I guess. So that's enough for the bronze, so I can add some to the layer to make it more stable. So yeah, this is roughly the shape of the World Cup trophy. And it's just an inspired abstract sculpture artwork of the World Cup trophy, so this is kind of like how it will look like at the end. But when I add the green, it will look more like the real thing. So I don't know, probably like this. Because I'm trying to visualize the real thing. It has that slanted shape, curved inwards at the middle, and it goes up and has a circular shape on top for the globe, right? And also the bottom part, towards the bottom, it would go outwards a bit for the base, so it kind of looks like this. So I guess this is good, and I can just adjust the shape later. Yeah, so this is just the wire sculpture art. Probably shouldn't be using more, or I can. So this is the clay from the previous live stream, so it's fine. Probably add more on the inside. some more bronze on the inside, or just the base like this, because I probably do want to use everything of the bronze wire, but I don't know if I should add more, because then the gold wouldn't be the main color if I add more bronze, but I probably can add on the inside, and I would feel reluctant to cut this, so I would probably want to use everything. But the green, because it's just the 2 lines at the bottom, so I'll probably have to cut the green. But you know what, for now I'll just cut the bronze first, and then I can add later if I want to, because this already looks a bit darker, because I do want the gold to be the main focus and the main color, because it is like that on the real thing, on the real World Cup trophy. So yeah, I'll just cut this first, and then I can add later if I want to. I wonder if I can cut it with my hand, like twisting it. So I think I've done it before. Probably be hard. But I don't really know if normal scissors can cut this. Probably just have to like do it little by little so it gets thinner. Just scratch it. Yeah, I can't cut it with my hand. Or I can just leave it like this first. And I'll cut it towards the end if I do feel like I've used enough bronze. But yeah, thank you for joining and liking and watching this process of making art. So let me think of the next steps, how I should add the green, because I would need to cut the green also. And you know, on the real World Cup trophy, the green has 2 lines near the bottom of the trophy. So I guess for this wire, just probably 2 layers for each line, and then I'll have to cut it. Or I don't have to cut, just make it go out like this, and then the green one. So that is also art, right? So yeah, let me just take a break for a while. So we're close to approaching the first hour of the live stream, and I guess it's almost done now. Just the green part, green lines, and yeah, just take a break for a while and plan the next steps. So I'll just wrap the green that, and then I wouldn't have to cut it, so I'll just move up to the upper line. There's just 2 lines of the green, and I still wonder if this is enough of the bronze, or should I add 1 more layer? of the bronze. Or would it be enough? Because it does have, like, even without the bronze, the sculpture will already have the shadow parts, because you know when cast on the light, it does have the dark parts of it even without the bronze. But I guess the bronze would just add, it's just to add, to emphasize that, the shadow part, and like I said, to add depth to it, so it's not just one color and it's not just one wire, so this looks more rigid and have more depth to it. It has that depth. So yeah, what else should I do before I move on to the green one, the green part of the sculpture? So I guess after that it'll just be done. So how else should I make this look more okay? Doesn't have to look great, it's just an abstract sculpture, and it's just made of wires, so it cannot look like the real thing anyway, but it would have the shape of it. It does already have the shape of it. So I guess this is good enough for the main body before I move on to the next step. Let's just kind of like feel it and feel the thing and see if what I feel can inspire me to do something else if I need to. If I do need to add something else. The app had to restart, so when I resume the live, it just flips to the front camera. So how can I make the back camera the default? I guess we're back. So yeah, I guess because if I, if this live stream goes on for a while, I had to restart. But it didn't do that before. And before this, the live stream, my previous live streams were 3 hours and some 4 hours, I guess. So that's a bit, I don't know, maybe some technical difficulties. But for now, let's just admire this first before we move on to the next step. I guess the clay is fine. And it's to, highlight the continuation from the previous live streams where I used clay to make clay sculptures. So yeah, I guess we'll just look at this first and feel it, and look at the layers and kind of like admire it as one would at an art gallery. And this can probably one day go to my art gallery if and when I do have my own art gallery in the future. So that's the clay. And it's not just because I'm lazy to clean it. I mean, I do want, like I said, to like highlight the continuation from the previous live streams. So from the first one up to the last one, the previous one, I just used clay. So this would be the first live stream of making sculpture art. It's using another material. And the next ones will use other materials, such as what I have planned for zip ties. I would be using zip ties, and I do want to focus more on materials that are like not what the real thing is made of. Like, if you get what I mean. Like, it's an unusual material for that for whatever thing that I'm going for, that I would make the sculpture inspired by. So like this, for example, like the World Cup trophy, I don't really know what the real material is, but it's probably real gold, like the real World Cup trophy. And it's, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the wire is obviously not what the real thing is made of. So that is kind of like the next, or will be the main premise or the focus of this this niche content that this channel will focus on, like materials that are unusual for whatever that I'm making sculpture of. So, and also I would be also focusing on doing pop culture sculpture art. So, because like previously I focused on more abstract art, more general art. So for the next ones, it's gonna be more towards, like, I would want to be focusing more towards pop culture, like the World Cup, any events, any global events, anything regarding pop culture, whether it's movies or games or TV shows or anything else. So, and the main thing would be, the main premise, I guess, would be that all of it, or mostly all of it, if not all of it, will be made using kind of like everyday materials, I would say, like, or unusual materials for that thing. So, for example, if it's like a movie prop or something, it would be made of zip ties or clothespins. So I would be focusing on using like unusual materials to make more sculpture for the next ones, and I will be focusing more on pop culture, just for this to have like resonance with the audience. So it's more pop culture, like the World Cup or any other global event, because this year's World Cup just ended last week, so I guess it's still relevant. And the World Cup is always an ongoing thing. So even before the next World Cups, there's always going to be World Cup qualifiers and stuff. And football is one of the main sports of the world. So I do love football, but I haven't been playing football for a while now. But I do love playing football and watching football. So yeah, the next ones will also cover movies, like I said, TV shows, and what other pop culture ones do you have? Games, yeah, and those are like a lot. If just in those categories, there's a lot of things I can cover, and I can make sculpture of. But like I said, it's always, if not every time, it's always gonna be using materials, everyday materials, or DIY materials, I guess. Anything that anyone can just make at home using DIY, everyday, affordable materials. So yeah, but that's for the next ones. That's at least the current focus of the channel. Because I still want to take some time before starting with the next phase. Let me just take a break for a while. So it's the clay from before. Just leave it there. But here and there, I don't know. It's art. So you can take a break for a while. Okay, probably have to wash my hands now. It's all sticky from the clay. I guess I just like playing with clay. This is just fun to feel and touch. Wait, I can't focus on it. I guess it's too small, but this is just fun to play with clay. It's like ASMR kind of thing. Guess I'll take a break for a while and then just wash my hands a bit, and then we'll start with the next phase. But why is this here? Guess this is inevitable if the table's like this. That's fine. So, okay. Take a break for a while. Just wash my hands. Kind of already has that shape of the trophy with the globe on top. Let's just admire this for a while. I guess I won't cut it, I'll just like extend it so it's not part of the sculpture. But I guess this is already fine for the main body before the green one. So I guess this looks okay. I mean, if I had more wires, I could make it more thicker and make it have more substance, but these are the only wires that I have. So for this sculpture artwork, I guess it's fine. For the next ones, I will get more. If I'm planning to do more wire sculptures, the next ones I'll get more than enough materials. So this is already enough, at least for the abstract version of it. But I guess if I can add more to make it more, not necessarily bigger, but just make it have more substance, so it doesn't have a lot of space in it, or at least just on the outside, so it's more compact. Would be nice, would be a bit better than this, but this is for the abstract, like I said, the abstract version and the abstract sculpture. This is good. This has it has the shape of it, and the colors are also similar to the World Cup trophy, because this is inspired by World Cup. So could have made it bigger, but then I wouldn't have enough wires. But I guess if I want to try to do this again, I could probably get 3 packs of gold, so it will be 3 times more bigger or denser than this, and I can make it around this size. But for now, for the next ones, for now this is good, and for the next ones we'll do other pop culture related things, like movies and TV shows and games. Those are the main categories of what I want to focus on doing next. So for example, a major blockbuster coming out in theaters, I would want to do any movie prop from that movie. Anything that's trending, like the World Cup. I might be a bit late for the World Cup because it already ended a week ago. Or now it's approximately 1 week, because it's Monday now. And the World Cup, the final match was on Monday, at least in Malaysia, Monday morning around 3, I think. So yeah, it's officially more than 1 week since the end of this year's World Cup. But I guess because World Cup is on an ongoing thing. It's every 4 years, as everyone knows. And even between the main World Cup matches, there's always the World Cup qualifiers taking place in the different participating countries. So it's just good, and it's not too late. It's not too long after the end of this year's World Cup. So yeah, I guess I would be done with using the bronze. But actually, yeah. Actually, the layer shouldn't actually be this much bronze. Because even towards the bottom of the trophy, it's more to the gold. So just whatever excess bronze, we'll just put it under. We'll try to put it under. Because I've already layered the thing over the top and everything, so I can't really just take. But it's fine. Because like I said, it's abstract. So as long as it looks like the real thing, I mean, looks like the abstract version of the real thing. And it has the shape and similar colors, the 3 colors of the World Cup trophy. It just probably has 2, like the real thing just has 2 main colors, but like I said, the bronze just adds to the depth, the shadow accents of the trophy. And because I only have one pack of gold wire, so this just adds more depth to it to make it more thick. So it's not just like you can still see there's a lot of empty spaces inside, but it's just wires. And like I said, if I had gotten more wires, I could make it look more compact and more rigid. But this is good. The abstract version of the World Cup trophy, this is good, I guess. I mean, it doesn't have to be great because it's an abstract and it's art, and art is subjective. So I'm just not sure if I already want to go to green, because once I do, it will just wrap over the gold and the bronze color. There wouldn't be much that I can do after that. But now, yeah, I would want to make the body a bit thicker, even though on the inside there's a lot of spaces on the inside. But you know, to make the body a bit thicker and not really thin, just space the wires out a bit, probably like that. And so the upper part will have to be also bigger for the globe part of the trophy on the top part. Yeah, but I guess it's fine. Yeah, this is good. And it doesn't really go out a lot on the bottom part, so I guess this just have that shape of the World Cup trophy. It's like globe on the upper part and then slanted inwards in the middle and then goes out. Right. And to emphasize, it's just abstract. But to me, this does already look like the abstract version of the World Cup trophy. Right? You can see the shape, and you can see the colors even without the green. So the green would be like this. Well, yeah, see? This is already, wow, if I may say so myself, and if I'm not flattering myself too much, this already reminds me of the World Cup trophy, with the green part. Because it won't look like this. It's too much green, but with these colors, yeah, like anyone who has ever seen the World Cup trophy would see that, or could see that this is the abstract version of a sculpture, wire sculpture art of the World Cup trophy. So yeah, and I guess the bronze doesn't really play that much of a role in making it darker. So I mean, because the bronze is a darker shade color of a darker color than the gold, it does act as like the say the inner part. It doesn't really take the focus away from the gold because it's a darker color. So I guess I can add more of the bronze, I guess. I'm trying to think. Should I or should I not? Because this is not that much more, and this is not that much more. So I guess I can add. And if you look at the World Cup trophy, at least under light, it has a lot of the dark shade. If you look at the real World Cup trophy, there's a lot of the dark shade because you have to look at under light, and because the trophy is kind of like the trophy itself is kind of abstract. The real trophy itself is kind of abstract because there's different shapes and different like thicknesses all throughout the trophy, so you can always see the dark shade of the trophy. I guess it would be fine if I add more towards this, more to. And so I would want it to, because this goes out, so just to kind of act as a. But I don't know if this finally like overshadows the gold color. Probably not. I mean, even if it does, the gold is still really apparent because of the fact that it's a brighter color than the bronze, so it has that bright color to it. So even like this, even with just a few left, the bronze doesn't really overshadow gold color. And the gold is still the main focus here. And like I said, if anyone has seen we've all seen the real World Cup trophy. It always has that dark shade to it. That shadow part of the trophy is always apparent. Because it always, no matter what angle you look at it, there's always the dark shade to it. So it's not just gold. So that's why I got the bronze color in the first place. So it's done. I've used everything. So this is more, there's more depth to it now. Because I've used all of the gold and the bronze. And even with all of the bronze, the gold, and even when the gold is in the inner part and the bronze is more towards the outer part, because of the fact that the bronze is darker, the gold still stands out more because the gold is the brighter color. So I guess the end of this bronze just goes inside, just like the starting end. So the finishing end goes inside like the starting end. Wait, kind of like so. It's kind of goes out. Kind of goes out like this. So just make sure it goes back in so it doesn't protrude out like this. This would be not ideal, especially to hold. So this just goes inside, like it just goes backward, so the end doesn't protrude out, just like this. Okay, there we have it. That's the main body with the gold and the bronze color. And I must say this looks okay. I'm not trying to say it looks great, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't need to, because it's just an abstract. And it's just made of aluminum wires, which is because it's not the material of which the real thing is made of. So that's why it doesn't have to look great, or it doesn't have to look perfect, because nothing is perfect. But yeah, I guess this is fine. And yeah, I always want to emphasize on the abstractness, because that's to cover up any inaccuracies, anything else, because it cannot look like the real thing anyways. It cannot even have, it would be hard for it to have a similar resemblance. So what I'm going for here is just the shape. And this, to me, at least personally, does have the shape of the real World Cup trophy. With the body and the globe, the circular spherical part of the upper part of the trophy, and then slanting inwards, curving inwards towards the middle part, and then curving back outwards towards the bottom part, but it doesn't have to curve so much. I mean, it doesn't even curve that much on the real thing, so I guess this is good. So just to visualize the end product of this, we can see when we add the green, then it has a lot more resemblance to the World Cup trophy when we add the green. So of course I wouldn't add all of this green because it's probably too much. And this is the similar length to the gold and the bronze, so it would be too much because it's just the green. It's just the two lines near the bottom of the trophy, like here, the first line, and then the second line, the lower line, and then the upper line. So probably I'll just use two. Just two enough? Yeah. So if I use three, then it would be a bit too thick. The lines would be too thick and thicker in proportion in relation to the World Cup trophy. So two lines is good. Two or three? Or should I add three? Oh. I mean, thinking about it and then remembering that it's abstract, three is good. Three is good. It also emphasizes the green part, and yeah, it's never gonna look like the real thing anyways. But when I add a lot of the green, it just highlights that color, the green color, which, because the main sculpture is just abstract, right? It doesn't have the details of the real thing, of the real World Cup trophy. So the green would just add more highlight, would just add some more design to the abstract sculpture, because the entire thing is abstract. Like if you've seen the World Cup trophy, it kind of has that the two sides would have the two persons on either side holding the globe. So this is just the shape of that. This is just the abstract version of that, because I can't do it like that if I wanted to, even if I wanted to, because it's just wires and because I'm not a professional. And that's why I'm always going to lean towards abstract. And this is as much realism as I can make it have. So yeah, so I'm glad that I used all of the gold and all of the bronze, so I wouldn't have to cut. And it still looks, the main body still looks, to me personally, like the main body of the World Cup trophy, at least in the shape and in the color. So even, like I said, even when using all of the bronze, which is the same length of the gold, and the bronze is the outer part of the sculpture, and the gold is more towards the inner part of the sculpture. as you can see, it doesn't really take away the gold accents, the gold color of the trophy, because that is the main color of the World Cup trophy, the gold. And like I said, the bronze is just to act as the shadow part. But even like this, you can see that it's not really dark, even though there are some dark parts because of the more bronze. But if you look at the World Cup trophy, it always has that dark part to it. Always has that shadow, no matter which angle you look at. So this is kind of like that. Like the dark part is always to emphasize the shadow part. And if it's just gold, if I didn't add the bronze, if it's just gold, it kind of wouldn't have this kind of depth to it, to the color, to the shape, to the whole structure. So it's good. Personally, to me, it's good. Yeah, you can see this is the end of the gold wire, so this is good because it doesn't go out, and we can see clearly that this is the end. So that kind of adds, this is the starting point, or the end point, or either end of the wire. And this is the end of the bronze. So let's just admire it from up close a little while before we move on to the green color. So that's the clay. I'll just leave it like that. I wonder if I should add white. Probably should add white clay, because I have a little bit more of the white clay from before. I mean, it's a lot more. So I would probably just, and also to, like I said, highlight the fact that this is like the next one after the clay sculptures, which is what the previous live streams were focused on. So I guess if I just add white here and there, does it kind of look like the shiny part of the World Cup trophy? Because it always has that shiny part. I mean, this already has the shiny part because this is metal, and this is aluminum wire, and under light it always has that glowing part, just like the trophy. But I guess the white just adds, I mean, the clay as a whole in general just adds abstractness to it, and I guess it gives it more personality. So it's not just this one material, the aluminum wire. Let's just try. Let's just try putting here and there. I mean, even if it doesn't make it look like much, right? Because this is a little bit, and like I said, I do want to add some clay because of the fact that the previous live streams, the previous sculptures were made of clay. So this is to like to have this one, to make this one have some relation to the last ones in some way, if that makes sense. Right? It's just like this. Yes, even if it's not really visible, it's just to add the abstract to it, to make it look like it has personality. Like it has a unique characteristic to it. So it's not just metal wires, it's not just aluminum wires, it's not just wires. This is okay. Of course, the real one, I mean, I've never really seen the real one up close or felt it or even seen it in real life. But I know it's just probably just one material, the real one. So yeah, I mean, this is just a fan art of the real thing. So of course it's different, and this adds to the differentness of it, I guess. I don't really know if this works. Probably if I have black clay will also be nice, but I don't, because I've used up all of the black clay and mixed it with white, so it's now gray. So I don't really have just black, but I do have white because I didn't use up all of it from the previous streams. If this looks okay. I mean, it doesn't have to look okay. It's just art, and art is subjective. I guess I just add a bit here and there, just cause. Just because I can. Like, it doesn't have to mean anything. It's just abstract. But I guess, yeah, when I add the green, it will look more like the real thing. So, let me take a break for a while. So we're almost done. Just the green part. And it's done. the clay doesn't really do too much, because it's just emphasized the shining part of the sculpture. This, because it's white, so it just adds to the highlights, I guess. Because it, like, because you can see, under light, this part shines and it shines when you turn it and look at it from different angles. So I guess the white is just the white clay just acts as that, but permanent shining. Yeah. So even when looking at it from different angles, the white part always adds to the highlight of the sculpture, even when there's not much light. So the white clay just adds to the shining part, just like the bronze wire acts as the shadow part, I guess. So let's just add a bit more white here and there. And playing with clay has a similar feel, if you know what I mean, to painting, right? It's, to me, because I've not really done sculpting a lot, but out of the materials that I've experienced and I've tried, I can say clay, reminds me of the feeling of painting, and especially, like this, the clay would just add, like, how one would add some details to the painting. So this is kind of like that. Like, of course, the wire sculpting doesn't really have that much, resonance to painting. Doesn't really have that similar feeling, or at least to me, because it's, a vastly different kind of material. But clay has that same feel, probably because, this clay can feel like paint, like acrylic paint, because I'm used to acrylic painting. I've also done oil paintings before, and that was actually before I moved on to acrylic, because acrylic is easier to handle. It's not as toxic as in terms of the smell and the feel. Like acrylic, you can just touch it. You can't do that with oil, unless you wash your hands quickly after that. But acrylic is more, for anyone who's tried painting, who's done painting, would know. But yeah, like, playing with clay makes me remember the feeling of painting. But I'll just add a little more, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if this looks good. I don't know if this looks good or just looks like a mess with the clay. I don't know if the clay makes it look good like a mess? Or is this enough clay? Is this enough of the shining part? Because the real shining part from the light is always going to be in different places when you look at it at different angles and you turn it. So the white clay just acts as a permanent highlight at a permanent fixture position of the sculpture. This is fine. And it's abstract. So yeah. So when I remind myself that it's abstract, it's kind of like anything can go, and it doesn't necessarily have to look good for it to work. It can just work because it's abstract. So when you think of it that way, it just accepts a lot of things, if not everything. Like, it just accepts that these clays are a part of the sculpture, even if it, subjectively it doesn't, to someone else, it doesn't look that good, these clays, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to look good. It's just is. It's just part of the abstract, I guess. Probably wouldn't want to add too much to take away from the actual. Probably somewhere else. Probably here. From the actual wire sculpture, which is the main thing. But I guess that's fine. I have to wash my hands again. So we're now approaching the second hour of the live stream. I guess I'll just take one more hour to work on this, add the green part, and then do some final touches if need be, then it's done. So let's just take the green. I guess that's enough of the clay for now. So let's just take the green and let's just add to the inside so it doesn't protrude out. Well, this is like let's just bend it around. So we can work on the end, work on the end of the wire later. Yeah, so we can see the green part. It's playing its role, and the final look of the sculpture, to have that resemblance to the real World Cup trophy. So it's just the lines. I guess I'll add one more layer before we move on to the next line. one more round. This is good. Abstract. Remember abstract. So that's, I guess, the first line, or should I add one more? Probably is enough. Because on the real thing, the line is not that thick on the real World Cup trophy. In proportion to the whole structure, it's not that thick, right? And this thick is enough. Yeah, this thick is enough. And then we'll just go to the next line, which just have a bridge, because I don't want to cut it, so it just has that bridge. And it's just abstract, like I said many times. So abstract anyways. Wait, so this is the second line. So yeah, this is the final part of the trophy, the green layer, the two lines, the two green lines resembling the two green lines of the real World Cup trophy. But because it has to have that bridge, because I don't want to cut it, so I guess it's fine, because it doesn't have to look exactly like the real thing. It would never look exactly like the real thing anyways. Yeah, this is enough. Guess this is when I cut it. Okay, that to me already looks like the real thing. Because it can't really, probably should go inside also. It should go inside, it doesn't like hollow out like this. It's like more, yeah, I can do it again, still have time. It's only just recently passed the second hour, so I would want to make this live stream go to past the third hour, make it 3 hours. So let's just like go around on the inside, and I would need to do this anyways to make the green part just like really stick, just like the bronze sticks to the sculpture without it going out, because it's interlacing with the other wires. So like that is what I want to do with the green. So if I take them first, yeah, so just pull the end out more so that I can interlace it more. with the other wires. Right, goes in, goes out again, and goes back in to the other side or the other spaces. Yeah, as long as it has that color to it, that's important. Just the color. Like the actual shape and stuff, that doesn't really matter that much because it's just abstract. But as long as it has that color in that position, this is already fine. I guess I have to cut the wire though, because I want the wire to go in, out, and then in and out. Or restart and then do the upper layer first. And just take it out a lot because I can't cut it yet because I don't have the necessary tools to cut the wire. We'll just restart, take it out again, and then focus on doing the upper part first. So, and then I can interlace it with the whole structure, so it's more steady. It sticks more to the entire body. Or it doesn't have to stick to the entire body. It can just be like this, like how this is all, moving. So the green part is also can always move upon touch. So yeah, to me this already looks the abstract version of the trophy because of the colors. Green, the gold, bronze. Because I don't really have to make it realistic to the inside, do I? So it would be kind of hard. And so I put it inside and then take it out because I want to use the end part of the wire, and then just that could work. But then I will have to. Okay, let's just start again. It's still too early before when I would want to end the live stream. So I'll just do it again. Take it out again. But this time, just take a lot out before I start moving it around this sculpture. So, okay, green is out, and then what we want to use, so this is the end, what we want to use, this much, I think, and if not, if it's too much, I can just cut on the other end, and also this end. I guess this is a lot for 2 lines. Okay, probably. Okay, so I'll just pick this in, and then this just goes in a lot until the desired length, so that I don't have to cut it yet, because I can't cut it yet anyway, because I don't have the right cutting tool to cut the wire, cut this metal wire. Just, yeah, that's it. And I'll just cut this probably, if I want to. So let's try. Wrap the green around. This is the other end of the green wire. Wait, how do I do this? Maybe too much. Probably not. Probably fine. Okay, just cross it here. And then just the whole thing. I'm not really sure if this is the right move, if this is the right technique, but if anything can work with abstract. So yeah. Okay, this will work to do the whole thing. Now we'll have to probably clean the, well, probably not, probably just leave it like this, full of clay from the previous artworks. So this is enough line, or one more line? Probably one more. So as you can see, it's nearing the end product of the sculpture. Save the final part, which is the green, two green lines near the bottom of the trophy. And then I guess that's enough. It's good for the first lower line. Good for the first lower line. And then because I'm not gonna cut it, because I can't cut it anyways, so there's just gonna be a bridge from the first lower line to the second upper line. But is this enough for the first line? I guess so. Just one more, because this looked like a lot for the second line, so it was just one more. And I guess looking at the real thing, like similar to the real thing, the lower line is probably a bit thicker than the upper line, the lower green, but I guess that's fine. So I guess there's just a bridge. to the second line. And this is the second line. But you can see there's a lot of wires left, so I probably have to cut it or probably not. So these are the two green lines of resembling the World Cup trophy lines near the bottom of the trophy. So you can see this roughly looks like the World Cup trophy. Then I guess this would make it thicker than the lower line. It doesn't matter, I guess this is abstract, like I said. But yeah, this also already looks like the abstract version of the World Cup trophy. I guess I probably can't add more. It's gonna be much. We just do another bridge from the upper line, goes back to the lower line, because that would be a lot of layers already for the upper line. So I guess it just goes more on the lower line, because the lower line, I guess, is a bit thicker, like on the real World Cup trophy. So this is, I guess, the shape and the colors of the real World Cup trophy, just the abstract resemblance of it. So I guess the end just goes inside. I guess, yeah. Just, I guess, spaced out a bit more, so it has that gap between it, that obvious clear gap. And you know, these two bridges would have to exist here, because unless I can cut it, but then probably wouldn't want to cut, because the whole gold and bronze is not cut. The whole gold and bronze is the whole thing. So I would just cut this part, because it's a lot more green here, and I wouldn't want to be using all of the green, because that's enough for the two lines, two green lines. Or is it too upper? It should be a bit lower, because it's not in the real one. On the real one, the two lines are not really towards the middle. It's more towards the very bottom of the trophy. But I guess because this is abstract, this is fine. Let's just stick this in and see what else I can do before I cut this. yeah, you can see that this is already looking like an abstract resemblance of the World Cup trophy, which is what inspires this sculpture. And let's just kind of look at it from up close at all the different parts and all the different colors and bendings of the wire. And should I add more white clay? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if I just finish at this, I'm already okay with it. Like, there's probably not much more that I can do to make it look better than this, at least with the existing materials that I have currently. This is probably the best that I can do. The best abstract resemblance of the World Cup trophy. Right. As long as they're similar colors, similar shape, to me personally, it already looks like a sculpture artwork that is inspired by the World Cup trophy. Or in other words, abstract resemblance of the World Cup trophy. This sculpture artwork. So let me just take another break for a while and then just look at this even more to see if there's anything else that I would want to make amends to of. But like I said, to me this already looks okay for my liking personally. So let's just take a break for a while and then just really look at this. Just really look at this for a while. Imagine it being displayed at an art gallery, or at least my art gallery, if no other art galleries would want to display it. But that is one of my long-term goals, is to open my own art gallery. My prospect in this is to open my own art gallery, and sculpture arts and also painting artworks, sculpture artworks and painting artworks that I've done, the ones that I really like will go on display in the art gallery, which, if I could say, I would want the art gallery to open within the next year, I would say. So it's just, or like, I would want to make it different from other art galleries, but it's an art gallery. It's like other art galleries, but also I am planning on how to make it be different from other art galleries in its own way. You know, different art galleries have different styles, have their own unique characteristics, but the art gallery that I'm planning for, I'm still planning on how to make it be different and unique in its own way. So I guess I could have this as one of the displays, let's see. Or if I want to make a bigger one, or this is already good enough, at least until the next World Cup, which is in another 4 years, because the last one just ended. This year's just ended, so another 4 years, that's 2030. But I can have this on display. Like, I like it. I like how this looks. And just like this one, the next ones that I'm planning for the next live streams, the next art making process videos, it will be more to pop culture, like this one, like a global event and global popular movies, blockbusters, TV shows, games. So anything that is coming up, I would want to see if I can cover it. And like I said, like I mentioned, most of it, if not all of it, would be using DIY materials, like everyday and also affordable materials. Materials that anyone can just get almost anywhere, and anyone can just do it at home. So that's what I'm kind of going for. Like for the next ones, what I'm planning for would be using zip ties, clothespins, what those paper clips, rubber bands. So that's all for the next ones. And I would focus more on pop culture rather than abstract or general art like the previous ones. So it's after this it's less generic ones or less like general ones and more specifically particularly to pop cultures like movies, TV shows, games, what else? Any other global events like the World Cup that would have a lot of um, fans, a lot of audience, you know, being fans of the the events or the movies or the TV shows or the games or anything else. So that's all for the next ones. But this one, I guess for this one, I wouldn't have to cut it yet. And I'm still thinking whether I do want to cut it or I just want to leave it like this. Like, probably not in the same frame, but it's just like this. Until, or at least until I get the right tool to cut. Or I probably don't want to cut at all. And this already is good enough, I would guess. So let's just admire it for a while and see what else I can do. board like this, rotate the orientation of the board, I can write more, but then I can't show the subscriber count, which is also important for the later ones. I guess if I just keep it in this orientation, if I want to say more, if I want to say more things, it's going to be so compact, and the letters are going to be small. So, what else should I do? I should else probably add a little bit more clay. Just because. Like, it doesn't have to really do anything. It just is. It's just there. I don't know. Add some on the green wire too. Probably a bit of gray too, just because. So the gray was actually because I mixed the black and the white one clay. But if I had a black clay, it would kind of add more depth, I guess. But I don't have any black anymore, so I guess I'll just use a bit of the gray clay. But yeah, like I don't really have to add clays. It's just cause just to add some unique look to this. Even though to me this already looks like the abstract resemblance of the World Cup trophy, but I guess this is just to add more uniqueness to it. Don't really know what I'm doing right now. I guess it's just what I feel like. Right? I'm not really even sure why I feel the need to add clay, but like I said, the previous ones were made of clay. The previous ones were on clay. So I guess because this will be the first one in the first 5 live streams without not using clay as the main material. So I guess I always still want to use some clay somehow, just to add some accents for the details. So I guess this would be the final look of it. Final look of the final sculpture artwork inspired by the World Cup trophy. As you can see, has similar colors and similar shapes. So I don't know how anyone else would see this, and if they can also see that it has some abstract resemblance to the World Cup trophy. But to me, at least personally, that it does. and somehow, I guess that's the important part. It just somehow looks like it. Doesn't really have to look exactly or almost like it, or it doesn't even have to look good. It just has to look like it somehow. You know, the abstractness is an important part of it, because that kind of like not to say fix, but that kind of like makes it okay to look unique, right? So that's what I'm leaning towards, realism. So it would have that unique look to it. Abstract. That's what I'm leaning towards, abstract. And you know, the realism aspect of it is just that it looks somehow like it, but it's more towards abstract, so it has that unique look to it, I would say. But I hope this also looks like an abstract resemblance of the World Cup trophy to everyone else. At least I personally think other people can see the resemblance because of the fact that it's the same colors and it has a similar shape. So I kind of hope and think that other people can also see the resemblance. And it's not just me. But I guess, yeah. I guess the more I put these clays on the sculpture, to me, it fits it more. The more I put these clays, the more it fits, I guess, somehow. Even if it doesn't, it's just abstract. Like I said, it's just abstract. And the clays just add some unique perspective to it. So it's not just one material. Even if with three colors, the three colored aluminum armature wires, but the clay just adds uniqueness to it by adding one more material other than the metal wires. But I guess the white clays and also the gray ones, because I don't have the black one. I don't have a black clay because I had a black clay, but then I mixed it with the white, and so it became gray. And I didn't use this. This is the excess white clay. So highlight as the shining highlights of the trophy, the sculpture. Somehow. And I guess it just adds a nice abstract touch. It adds it adds some more art to it, the clay. So yeah. So as you can see, this has the abstract shape and the abstract colors in its proportion positions to the real World Cup trophy. I guess there's nothing else that I need to do to the wire sculpture, or let's just look at this up close one more time. It's kind of cool to have it focus automatically. So I'm not kind of sure. I'm not sure if the clay is doing a good part in the design, but it's fine, right? It's just abstract. So make sure there's a gap between the two lines, like the two lines on the real World Cup trophy. There's the two green lines, and there's the gap in between. It probably has to be lower, but it's fine. So I can't really make it lower anyway, but it's fine. So yeah, this to me almost looks like if it's an abstract painting. Like if I tried to make an abstract painting of the World Cup trophy, it would look like this. And to me, this already looks okay. This already looks good as the abstract version of it. Because when I say abstract, it makes it okay. It makes it look okay because it's abstract. Because I'm not trying to go for more realism than currently. Yeah. I guess this is also why I'm moving towards sculpture art, because I've always been more to painting, especially since the start of me making art. I've always been painting, and I still do paint, but I guess especially for content and for the niche of the channel, let me just for a while. Yeah, to me this looks good. Personally, this looks okay to me. And like Guess that if I wanted to display this at my future art gallery, I would. I would definitely display this as one of the displays at my future art gallery. I like how it's abstract, but it has the resemblance to the real thing, which is the World Cup trophy. Especially the colors and the shape plays a major role in making it have the abstract resemblance. But I don't know. I guess this is good enough. The main sculpture is good enough, and yeah. But this part, because this part has a bridge from the second line to the first line, or the first line to the second line, it just looks like it's just one line. But I guess it's fine, because, you know, it doesn't really have to look like the real thing. But if you look at it from this side, yeah, you can see the two lines, and then this a gap in between the two lines as what looks like on the real World Cup trophy. The green lines, the globe shape, the curve inwards in the middle. So I guess it's fine. The clay does kind of make it look messy. The clays, but I guess it's cool. And if I wanna do something about it later, when I look at it again, much later, I could do something about it. But as for the main shape of the main sculpture and the main material, this is good enough. And also, it's probably just because I like playing with clay, that's why I keep doing this. But if I look at it from another angle or another perspective, it does kind of look good. It does kind of look good because the clays just act as kind of like or how should I say? Like it adds more art to it, if that makes sense. It's more artsy. Right? It adds that artistic flair to it. If I could say that. If I must say, it adds more artistic flair to the whole sculpture, these clays. Because if we think about how, if this is framed as a abstract painting, then it would have like the sort of abstract details, the loose, design. And so this is kind of like that. The clay kind of acts as the loose details. And to make it more like it's not just one thing, and it's different things together. And to me, that is what abstract art is like, because it's not just one thing, or it's not just that particular thing, but it's also more than one thing put together. So I guess that's what I'm going for with these clays. And so sculpture wise and structure wise, it's not just one material, which is the aluminum armature wire. It's not just a metal wire. It's also metal and clay to add more texture. And I know the real World Cup trophy would probably just have one, has probably just one, I don't know, I've never really felt it or seen it. I've never really seen it in real life. But I guess the real World Cup trophy would just have one material. But this has two. So it's the metal wires and the clays, just to add more abstractness to it. So it's not just one or two things, but a mix of different things together. If I had black clay, black colored clay, it would look nicer, but I don't. Probably should have saved the black that I had, because the black clay that I had, I mixed it with the white, so it became gray. And so these are the only original color that I still have. So it's fine. The white one, the white clay just acts as the highlights of it. And we already have the bronze that acts as the shadows. And the green is also because of the green lines of the real World Cup trophy. So I guess this is it. This is what the final one looks like. Although from this side it kind of looks weird, but yeah. I would cut this, or I would just probably leave it, because I'm not gonna use more of the green one because it's a lot, and this is already enough for the two lines that resemble the two green lines of the World Cup trophy. And yeah, I guess this is it. But like I said, if I want to make some more amends to it after this, after the live, I would, or I just leave it like that, because this is the product of this live stream. So thinking about it that way, I probably wouldn't want to change it. And this is how it would look like, if it goes to my art collection, or if it goes on display at my future art gallery, which I'm planning for, which hopefully will become a reality within the next 1 year. So thank you for those that have watched this live stream. Thank you for the ones who joined this live stream, for the ones joining this live stream before the end of this live stream, and for watching the process of making World Cup, making a World Cup inspired trophy sculpture artwork. So I guess this is the final one, final visual of what this is. And yeah, I guess I'm done. At least the abstract resemblance of it, the abstract resemblance of the World Cup trophy is, to me personally, is done up until this point. And I guess when I end this live stream, this is how it will continue to look like, either if it goes to my art gallery, goes on display to my art gallery, or goes to my art collection. this is how it looks like. This is the final form of this. So thank you again. I appreciate the to everyone. I appreciate everyone, the ones, everyone that has joined this live stream. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching this live stream. Thank you for watching me make a World Cup inspired trophy sculpture abstract artwork. And I hope everyone has a good day ahead. And till the next time, till the next ones after this. So, thank you.